My question, let's see, Wi-Fi stems from the atheist trying to say that it's possible that we live in a world without knowledge, which is a knowledge claim, so it's self-refuting. So this is where they get trapped. I believe we have knowledge does not escape because it's imply any belief, if you look in epistemology, always a belief implies that you know, or that you believe that you know. You may not know, but a belief condition always implies that the person who's believing it thinks they know that thing. So that's a second order statement. I believe we have knowledge. Do you know that you believe that you have knowledge? So you have two ways. Either it goes in an infinite regress, where if you say no, you keep making knowledge statements about your beliefs, etc. Or you obviously pony up and realize, yes, that's a knowledge statement. Does that make sense? So they don't get out of, and it just shows that they're being disingenuous. That's what I say in the beginning of the paper. The hardest problem is convincing the people the problem is not hard at all, but really easy. These things are really easy. People make it difficult for themselves. Why? Because they just don't want to face up to the facts. That means my worldview is self-refuting. Well, I don't do that, so I'm going to create and try to wiggle my way out of this and be dishonest. So, yes, every belief from a person entails that the believer believes that they know that. There's no way out of that. And they make a claim about, well, no, I don't know that I know. That's why I'm saying you can avoid the whole thing. Like, it doesn't imply that they're believing that they know, but rather that they believe that they know it. And they might be right or wrong, whether they know it or not. But there's no way of actually getting out of that. The second order claims are asserting that they believe that they know that. And that's why it's self-refuting to say it might be possible that knowledge might not exist. Do you know the statement that you're saying? Let's see what the problem is. Yes. Do you know it's a belief? If not, you're on an infinite regress. If so, then you know at least, you're claiming to know at least one thing. That's a belief that it might be possible. Which means it's impossible that it doesn't. So the infinite regress is interesting to me. Some say that even saying I know that I know. Yeah, that's the problem with the KK thesis. Is it depends on what you're focusing on the KK thesis. If you think in order to know, at first order, you have to know that you know, then you're in an infinite regress. So you have to know that you know that you know. However, some people don't hold that. They hold that it's sufficient. If you know, then it sufficiently determines that you know that you know. And that would go on infinitely, but that's not necessarily a problem that you know that you know that you know that you know, because the higher orders are not necessary for the first order. I think obviously there's problems with, I don't think simply knowing something means that you know that you know. But the real issue is, well, do you have to know that you know in order to know? And most people would say, no, you don't. It's fallibles that hold to phenomenal conservatism appeal to the judgment to rationalize phenomenal concern. Doesn't that undercut phenomenal concern trying to stay only within the experience itself? Good question. How would, if I was a phenomenal conservative, how would I try to respond to that? Oh, I know. Here's what they do. It depends on, if I was a phenomenal conservative and a smart one, I would say this. It depends what you mean by appeal, bucko. Are they using it as a justification or an explanation? And you always see this where like somebody's explaining why they got themselves into the bad situation that they did. And somebody's like, that's not a justification. And they'll say, that doesn't justify your behavior. I didn't say it did. I'm just explaining what happened. They possibly might have a way out if they do something similar. My appeal to a judgment to explain phenomenal conservatism is not the justification for phenomenal conservatism by definition, because it's the basic phenomenal experience. It's simply explaining it. That's that's what I would, if I was a phenomenal conservative, that's exactly where I'd go. So you'd actually have to show that your explanations actually, that it logically depends on the explanation. I mean, you got him on that. Fallacy makes a compound proposition judgment. If it seems to ask that P, then in the absence of defeaters. Yeah, I just ask, well, who came up with that? In the absence of defeat, like, and again, it's like, well, just grant me that. That's what my theory is. So if you grant me it, then that's what makes my theory work. I would say, no, I will not do such things.